What is the relationship between the church and culture? In the United States, following the trajectory of Western civilization, that relationship has changed a bit over time. So, how might we recognize the relationship between the capital C church and Western culture? In some ways, it's like a ballroom dance. Over the course of the last several hundred years, the leading partner in the dance of church and culture has changed. I'll give you a few examples drawn from this analogy, including a few questions to chew on, and then give you my opinion about why this matters. Philosophers like Charles Taylor have done work that attempts to chart out how we got here. And they explain that since the Enlightenment, the way we think about the world has changed. These changes are reflected in the relationship of the church and culture. When we look back 1,000 years, we find that in Western civilization, the church at one time led the dance with culture. Beautiful cultural artifacts like paintings, poetry, and architecture were birthed out of the context of the church. Recall the Renaissance masters. Much of their subject matter was drawn from the Bible. Yet, as we move through the Enlightenment and move into modernism and then enter the 20th and 21st centuries, the lead in the dance changes. Culture begins to take the lead, with the church following as cultural artifacts bear witness. So a key question here is, who takes lead? A couple participating in ballroom dancing knows that one partner must be given the lead to set the direction and pace of turns, and the other partner follows that lead and is given freedom to elaborate and beautify the moves, sometimes with a twirl. When the church, capital C, is the leading partner, then the church has the opportunity to set the pace and the trajectory of the dance. And the flourishes or cultural artifacts point to the beauty of that trajectory. The artifacts that culture produces may ultimately point to the beauty of the creator of the dance. When culture, again, capital C, is leading partner, then the pace and trajectory are set differently. And the beauty of the dance points differently as well. The artifacts may tend to point to the beauty of the culture without pointing any further. So, what happens if the other partner tries to take the lead? I'm a terrible dancer, and my wife is a great dancer. So when we try to ballroom dance, she'll often begin to lead by default because she knows the steps. And when I try to take the lead, toes will be stepped on, and we may even lose balance. And we've certainly experienced moments like this in history, when balance was off, as Christians and our broader culture did not know how to interact, or created competing or conflicting works of art. Or when culture steps in to lead because the church didn't know the moves or adapt to the rhythm. If we stayed with this analogy, there are several interesting questions for another time. Who picks the music to which we dance? Should the church lead in creating culture? What about cultures that aren't Western? So the dance currently seems to be led by culture. So what? That's actually a helpful question. So what? Why does it matter who leads in the creation or cultivation of beauty? It matters to Christians because Christians should remember that ultimately, God will have folks from every ethnicity, every cultural group bring their cultural beauty, their artifacts, to God's feet for His glory. We create for the glory of the Creator. As the church tends to make art imitating surrounding culture, are we really making the most good, true, and beautiful cultural artifacts? So what? So, even though the Western church doesn't lead in the production of cultural artifacts now like we may have in the past, Christians should endeavor to make deeply and truly good art that points to the glory of the Creator.